What's new, crew? If you're new, my name is Cassandra. Today I'm talking about my 30 days on carnivore experience. But first, I want to start with why. I do have some notes here just to try to keep me on track because I want this video to be as concise as it possibly can. So my why, basically, when I started, I was 3.5 months postpartum with my 5th baby. I had one baby every 1.5 to 2 years-ish for the last 10 years. Which means basically for the last 10 years, I've either been pregnant, breastfeeding, or dealing with raising a tiny baby that requires a lot of energy, mentally, physically, all of the things. And this is my last baby, and I decided that I really wanted to do something to get myself back into really good shape, feeling really good, having mental clarity, and hopefully just being less tired. Obviously, raising 5 kids, it's tiring. It can be really exhausting mentally and physically at times, especially when you're doing it on very limited amounts of sleep with babies. I basically feel like I have not slept through the night consistently in the last 10 years, and that's my own doing. Well, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but that is the reality of it. So I was looking for something that would give me the energy, help me lose some of the baby weight, a lot of the baby weight. This being my 5th pregnancy, I went into this pregnancy at my heaviest. Starting this pregnancy, I weighed about 135, 138. I had a number of miscarriages between my 4th pregnancy and my 5th pregnancy, or my 4th baby and my 5th baby. And that led me into starting this pregnancy at a heavier weight because my miscarriages were back to back to back. So I would go through the first couple weeks of pregnancy, gain some weight, a lot of it obviously like bloating, water weight, things like that, but I wouldn't have enough time in between miscarriages to lose the weight. So I would gain, you know, even if it was just 2 or 3 pounds with each of those. I started this pregnancy about 10 pounds heavier than I had any of my other pregnancies, which of course led me to being at my heaviest at delivery. Plus in the last 11 days of my last pregnancy, I gained like 24 pounds of just water weight and swelling and things. So at delivery for my 5th baby, I weighed 188 pounds, which is my heaviest I've ever been. And after 6 weeks, which is when I really start to count the weight, because you have to give your body time for your organs to come back a little bit and the water weight to release and all those things. So after 6 weeks, I weighed 150 pounds, and starting carnivore, that was my starting weight, 150 pounds, over, you know, a couple months, from 6 weeks postpartum to 3.5 months postpartum. When I started this, I had not lost a single pound. I was doing my normal workout routine. I was eating my normal way. We eat really clean. We live on a homestead here, so most of our vegetables are homegrown by us. Lots of fruit, locally sourced, all those things. I had not been able to lose not 1 pound. I mean, the scale was not moving. I was not used to that. I don't know if it's because I'm a little bit older this time. I'm closing in on 30, so I don't know if that had something to do with it, but that was my main source of wanting to start this. Was I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to build back a lot of muscle because I had lost a lot of fat over the last year or so with this pregnancy. A really big reason I wanted to start this as well is my husband had been dealing with a whole array of health issues. I mean, from A to Z. I'm gonna leave it really vague because it's my husband's business, but he is a wounded veteran, so he deals with chronic pain and degenerative conditions, and he will, according to doctors, the rest of his life, because of injuries that he sustained. His injuries were career ending, so my husband was med boarded, and it's hard because ever since then, he was, what, 19 when he enlisted, and by the time we got out at 23 years old, his body was completely destroyed. My husband was light infantry up at Fort Drum, New York, which means they ruck everywhere. If you don't know what that means, you're not military. That basically means he carries his weapon, all of his ammo, and all of his equipment on his back, a rucksack, and he's rucking, you know, to ruck 30 miles, 40, 50 miles with, you know, 200 pounds plus your plates, which is basically just like your bulletproof vest, which is 100 and some pounds on itself. So you're rucking with easily 300 pounds on you for miles and miles and miles for years and years and years. That takes a toll on your back, your knees, your hips, your ankles, your feet, all of those things. And I basically have watched my husband be in pain every day since then, and that's hard. My husband was also dealing with some sleep issues. He just had his annual physical with the VA. They were talking about testing him for sleep apnea. He was snoring all the time. He was not getting good night's sleep. He was exhausted all the time. Those are just some of the things my husband was dealing with, amongst many other things, obviously. So the main reason I really wanted to do this, was to lose some weight, put on some muscle, but also to support my husband in his journey, because I didn't have a lot of health issues. I'm looking to clear up. I'm relatively healthy. But my husband had a whole list of things he was looking to clear up. So let's hop on this. I'll do it with you. You can have an accountability buddy, and like I'll do, no problem. 30 days, I can do that. So since I did a lot of this for weight loss, in the first 30 days, I lost 12 pounds. My husband lost almost double that. My husband's down like 21 pounds in 30 days, which is awesome. Some of the things that I noticed for myself personally is I was no longer hitting that crazy hard wall at like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Beforehand, remember, I have a little baby. Throughout my pregnancy and with having a newborn, it would hit 1, 2 o'clock, sometimes noon on some days, and I had to lay down. I had to have some quiet time. When my little kids took quiet time, I took quiet time, which meant all the lights came off. I laid down on the couch. I've always had quiet time in my house for the last 10 years because I've always had either babies or toddlers or both who need that quiet time. And over the last 2 or 3 years or so, I have also taken quiet time during quiet time, which meant I lay down on the couch, I watch some TV or something where I am also resting, my body is still. And some days, if my big kids were at school and both of my little kids were napping at the same time, I was also taking a couch nap. And it was like a necessity during my day. I needed that. That went away, I think, on day 2 or 3. I no longer needed that quiet time. I no longer needed that break in the middle of the day to rest. And the crazy thing is, my newborn, or my baby, and my toddler have been sleeping the worst they have slept since I've had both of them. My toddler is going through a major sleep regression. I'm getting up with her at least once or twice every single night to put back to bed. I've had some kids who are great sleepers and some kids who are horrendous sleepers. And my toddler is a horrendous sleeper. She's just going through a phase. My baby is actually one of my better sleepers that I've had, but in combination of still only getting up maybe every 2 to 3 hours with my baby, which for me is a good sleeper amongst my children, and getting up once or twice, sometimes more than that with my toddler, that means I'm up pretty much every hour on the hour throughout the night, and I'm still feeling the most energy I've ever felt. I'm still feeling mentally pretty clear, not needing that afternoon nap, not needing that afternoon rest time. And in conjunction with that, I've noticed this. My husband has also noticed this. We are relatively pretty patient with our kids. We have 5 of them. You have to be patient with your kids. So relatively, we're pretty patient, but you do have moments of overstimulation. Maybe you're in the middle of a really hard task, something that absolutely has to be done, and you have 3 kids come up to you at once and they all need something different. And it's one of those things where it's like, everybody, 2 seconds, I will deal with you one at a time. Just hang on a minute, step back, let me finish what I'm doing here, and I will come up to you when I'm ready to help you with whatever you need. And those moments of like almost anxiety over stimulation have completely gone away for both my husband and myself. Another thing that I noticed pretty right away was the fact that I could drink coffee on an empty stomach and not get that shaky feeling where your hands are shaking. You can feel your blood pressure rising, your blood sugar going down, and it's like, okay, stop everything. I need to eat, I need to drink some water, I need to sit down for a little bit. I've never had that on this diet, where if I'm eating carnivore and I can have my morning cup of coffee here, what I've been putting in my coffee normally prior to carnivore, I would put in about 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar that I make myself with an organic molasses and an organic sugar. I switched that out for local honey, and then I've always just put heavy cream in my coffee. So just local honey, which some people would say is a dirty carnivore move. For me, it was better than nothing. So a little bit of organic local honey, a little bit of just Walmart heavy cream, and that's why I've been drinking my coffee. I can drink that on my empty stomach, fasting, and I'm not getting the shakes. I don't feel like I need to stop everything and eat right this second, or I'm gonna like heave over. None of that. I don't get that lightheaded feeling anymore, which I used to experience pretty much on a daily basis. Getting kids up for school, getting the day started, you know, just drink your coffee to wake up, wait a couple hours before I had a chance to eat between farm chores and kids and whatnot. So that has been a really good change that I really liked to see, and something I was not expecting. And in conjunction with that, I've noticed, and my husband, we're just not hungry. Only eating meat, dairy products, and some of our farm fresh eggs here, we're almost never hungry. We had a day a couple weekends ago where we had to run out of the house really early in the morning with all 5 of the kids. We ran down to my in-laws where a bunch of our family members come together to can a bunch of fermented cabbage, so sauerkraut. We ferment our cabbage the old-fashioned way, and those big crocks, we had like 50 gallons or something like that of sauerkraut that we had to pack into jars and can. My husband and myself didn't eat until almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Once again, we didn't get that shaky feeling. We didn't get that feeling where I think everybody kind of knows, where you wait too long to eat and you're kind of swaying back and forth. You're like, okay, stop everything. I need to eat right now. Neither one of us experienced that. Neither one of us were uncomfortably hungry. We were good to go. We were fine. And when we did eat, we were like, okay, like it was just that. So kind of in conjunction with that, we've also noticed that we're eating because we have to. We're eating to eat. We're not eating to get that dopamine hit. The cravings are pretty much gone. My husband and I do still have moments where it's like, oh, I would really like a pizza, or we were talking about Mexican food the other day. Something like that, where it's like, oh, wouldn't that be good? So there still is some of that, but for the most part, there's no, like, do you know, if you know you're gonna go out to eat, or you're looking forward to a meal that you're really excited to eat, and you think about it all day, and you're like, oh, I cannot wait to get home and make that big batch of spaghetti, or like whatever it is. There's none of that anymore. There's no dopamine hit when it comes to eating. We're literally just eating because we need to do it to survive, and that's it. So there's no up and down crashes for either mentally or emotionally when you're eating. So that's been, I think, the hardest thing for me. And I'm not somebody who I thought had like a really intense relationship with food, but I'm realizing that maybe I did. And I think that's just the sugar withdrawals coming down, like detoxing off of sugar and carbs, is that your body wants you to eat those things because I mean, there's so much scientific research that sugar is addictive. It's more addictive than even heroin or cocaine. Like that is a fact. So I think putting in those cravings and maybe just like releasing that dopamine, it didn't make me sad or anything. It definitely didn't make me depressed, but it was just weird. It was an odd feeling that I could not describe. Maybe almost like an empty feeling. But once again, it didn't give me anxiety. It was just different. It was a different feeling for sure, eating without the carbs, without all the sugar. And once again, I really think that was just the detox process of getting all of that out of your body, and maybe your body kind of trying to rebel and be like, no, we need this, we want this, like you want that dopamine hit. So it was just a very different experience eating. The thing was that we are naturally intermediate fasting. We're not doing it intentionally. It's just like a natural progression of things. My husband and I have noticed that both of us are usually eating about 2 meals a day and maybe a light snack. Depending on when we eat those meals is just dependent on the day. Some days we're eating breakfast, lunch, and maybe a little snack for dinner. Some days we're eating more of like a lunch and a dinner and maybe just a light snack in the morning. Or some days we're just eating a really big breakfast and a light snack for dinner or something. It really depends on what we're eating. My husband and I have both noticed if we can eat a really fatty steak in the morning, like a sirloin or a ribeye or something with a couple of our farm fresh eggs, we could just eat that all day, not be hungry until like maybe 5 or 6 o'clock. And then we'll go, well, I'm a little peckish, so then maybe we'll eat like a string cheese or a little bit of cottage cheese or something. But other than that, I mean, we're just not eating a whole lot, which is obviously where the weight loss comes in and whatnot, but that's been really interesting as well. One thing that I've absolutely loved off of this carnivore diet is the fact that my husband has been way more involved in the kitchen, which is so fun. My husband and I have been married for almost 10 years. And in those 10 years, I've done 100% of the cooking 100% of the time. It's pretty rare my husband will jump in the kitchen. He obviously will if I'm like freshly postpartum or something, or like I'm stuck breastfeeding on the couch or something with a baby. He'll hop in the kitchen and kind of finish up whatever I was doing. He's been doing some of the grocery shopping, checking out local Homestead shops, bringing home different cheeses and different meats and things that he's excited to try. He's been coming in the kitchen actually cooking some things, which is so fun. So it's been really fun. My husband is my best friend, so to have him kind of like come into my domain and hop into the kitchen with me has been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed that. So it's just been nice. I really like it. The other thing that I've loved on this diet is how simple it is. In the beginning, the simplicity was actually kind of like a con for me, but over the month we've learned how to mix things up, get a little bit more quote unquote variety in our meals, whether that be meatballs, patties. We're not eating a lot of ground beef. We did in the beginning. Steaks, ribeyes, chicken cordon bleus, things like that. So we've mixed it up and we've found ways that we don't have to cook 2 meals very often for our family, because our kids are still eating the occasional carb. A lot more fruit this month. They've shied away from the vegetables a lot this month. They just kind of did that naturally with us. One thing that I wasn't expecting is how often my husband and I would just make like scrambled eggs and bacon, or scrambled eggs and ham and cheese for dinner, and our kids would go, well, I don't want anything else, I want scrambled eggs. Very naturally, our kids also, I would say, went on more meat based, which has been pretty cool. They just kind of naturally did that on their own. They want to eat what mom and dad are eating, so they ate a lot of burger patties, a lot of meatballs. We would always offer them like, hey, do you want me to make some noodles? Do you want me to make some mashed potatoes? Do you want me to pull, you know, some canned corn off the shelf that we did, or some canned green beans or something? A lot of times they would just say no. They weren't really interested in it. We have bags and bags and bags of organic apples that we got from a local Homestead shop. So the kids have been eating a lot of meat, a lot of local apples, maybe some oranges, local pears, because those are in season right now. So I don't know, we'll see. I wasn't really expecting the kids to be like, well, you know, I don't want you to make mac and cheese or whatever it is, which we would make from scratch most of the time anyways. But they're like, no, we don't want that. We just want scrambled eggs and ham too, or we want scrambled eggs and breakfast sausage, or whatever it is. So that was also kind of interesting. I wasn't really expecting that, but it's been really cool, just the simplicity of it. Usually we make a little bit more, especially in the wintertime, more things. We'll make stuffing and mashed potatoes and some sort of braised meat and, you know, a vegetable. So there's a lot of dishes to do, a lot of pots and pans, a lot of fresh bread in the winter time as well. So it's been really nice. The cleanup is a lot easier. My husband's also been taking over some of the cooking, so I feel like my mental load is way less. My husband's been hopping in areas he normally doesn't, which has been kind of fun. And cleanup has been so easy because we're pretty much only using our cast iron pans to, you know, fry our steaks or our meatballs, our burger patties. We're topping some cheese on it. It's been really, really nice. So there's a lot of pluses to this. It's saving us a lot of the time in the kitchen, and just a lot of cleanup, which means we have more time to hang out. So we've been eating dinner earlier because it's not taking as long to cook meals, because we don't have as many things that we're cooking, which means cleanup happens a lot easier. So normally we have already eaten dinner and cleaned up the kitchen before normally we would even have dinner on the table if we were not eating carnivore, which means we have more time to hang out with the kids. We have more time to hit parks before winter hits. We've been doing bike rides and walks every single night with the kids, or like going out in the yard and playing baseball or throwing the football or something with the kids. So there have been so many things that I'm really excited about this. My husband has already committed to another 60 days. He is seeing so many benefits in his health, in the way he feels, the way he's sleeping. He has always been the heaviest sleeper, I guess, since he was a child. Even through his military career, my husband can sleep anywhere at any time, and the military definitely helped him hone in on that skill. My husband can sleep through mortars and out at the range, gunshots everywhere. My husband, I have gotten so many pictures of my husband at a range, just asleep on the side waiting his turn, especially if they're out in the field for like weeks at a time or months at a time. He can sleep anywhere, anytime, and he sleeps through everything. So every morning, basically for the last 10 years, if my husband has been with me, his alarm goes off and I have to reach over in the bed and shake him. I'm basically kicking him out of the bed in the morning and go to work. Go, you gotta get up. You have to go, like you have to get up and go. He's always drug himself out of bed in the morning. Not one time since he has started this diet have I woken up to his alarms, which means I'm sleeping more soundly, and my husband is also getting up on his own for the first time in 10 years. And I know I'm probably gonna get some comments that are gonna be really rude, calling him a man-child or something crazy like that. We all need help in areas. It's not that my husband doesn't want to go to work. It's not that my husband doesn't like his job, because he loves what he does. He loves working. It brings him a lot of pride in what he does, all those things. It's just sometimes it's hard to get up. It is what it is. We have all had mornings where we've slept through an alarm. We didn't get to where we needed to be on time. So don't act like it hasn't happened to you. So the fact that he's getting up on his own, all of these things, his sleep apnea that they were going to test him for has 100% disappeared. He's not snoring anymore. All of those things equate to him getting better sleep, which is why he can actually get up for his alarm. My husband's blue collar. He also has to wake up at like 3:30 in the morning to get up and go to work. So there's not a lot of hours of sleep there. He's feeling awesome on less amount of sleep and getting up on his own. So these are kind of all the things that have made us commit to another 60 days on carnivore. That being said, now that I am past my 30 days, I have started mixing in some things to see if it makes my body feel any different. One of those things is sourdough bread. I have a loaf going here. I am not a sourdough bread expert, don't ask me on this. I tried this about a year ago, did not have a lot of success, was not in the season of life, was in my first trimester, I think. Just totally took a break from sourdough. I got my sourdough starter back up and running when we started carnivore, so that by the time we were done with our 30 days, we would have some sourdough bread. So I'm just learning this. This is my third loaf here. We're gonna see how it goes. I have slowly started adding in small amounts of sourdough bread. It has not made me feel any different eating small amounts of sourdough bread. I mean, like maybe 1 or 2 very small slices a day, dipping it in my eggs or something. I feel great. It has not changed anything for me. I also have added in some of our local apples that we got because it's apple season. So I wanted to get at least 1 or 2 of those in. Haven't noticed any changes when I eat apples. I also added in a handful of grapes one day. Did not feel any different. The only thing that I did notice with the fruit, adding in small amounts of fruit, is I feel like on those days where I do have a piece of fruit, I do get hungry a little bit more quickly than I would if I were just eating meat, which does make sense. There is some sugar in fruit, let's be real. It's natural sugars, but it's still sugars. But I think the main thing is that it is taking up room that normally would be protein, meat, and eggs, things that just naturally fill you up longer. I'm filling them up with an apple instead. So it would make sense that not eating as nutritionally dense foods and replacing that with fruit, I'm gonna get hungry a little bit quicker. So all that makes sense to me, but I'm not jumping in adding things all at once, just slowly but surely since I am over that 30-day mark. But I think for the most part, I am gonna stick mostly meat-based. My husband has not been adding in fruits or sourdough at all. He's 100% meat-based. He wants to stick it out for at least another 60 days. And we'll see how this goes. So I do plan on doing a 60-day update and a 90-day update to see kind of what has changed. I'm gonna stick mostly meat-based, but I think I will still mix in little bits of sourdough bread and some fruits as long as they're really clean and organic. That being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know your carnivore experience down below, and I will catch you guys in another one.